let's zero in onto the topic of the day, which is traffic, right? So you're obviously launching the Traffic Syndicate. I love coming up with unique and clever strategies for getting traffic, especially when they work well. My audience is kind of two groups of people. It's a very interesting mixed audience. One group is a group of people who haven't yet built their first digital business. They haven't yet put a site online and haven't yet started. And the other group is someone who's maybe kind of a little further down the road. They've got a site going. Maybe they even have a little bit of traffic, but they're kind of ready to start getting, some serious traffic. And I wanted to get 2 bits of advice from you, one for each group.
The answer might surprise you. I always put something down on the whiteboard. One thing I do when I say, who am I talking to? Let's say I draw a line right here on the whiteboard. And on the left side, so that's this side for you. Over here, I put customer has not made $1 online. And then over here, I put the line and I say, customer has made at least $1 online with their own product. What does that say about that customer? They've had somebody buy something at checkout. That means they've created a product. They have some type of website. They figured that out, right? Whether it's high level, ClickFunnels, Groove, whatever it might be. They got a page up there. They set up a product. They set up their merchant account with Stripe. They figured out how to put a thank you page. They figured out how to fulfill the product, put a buy button on their website, and some type of support that if the person doesn't buy, they could reach. They have closed a skill gap that is absolutely tremendous. Now you figured out the tough part. Now you've just got to figure out, how do we get a little more, better conversions and then go get the traffic? On this side of the whiteboard, that person has not made $1 online yet. I've always found it difficult to try to market to that person. So for me personally, I've always said my message will be watered down to the newbie as much as they've made $1, or at least they get that concept. Because when we used to try to get everybody in there, what would happen is we would attract a customer and we would say, so the first thing you do is you unload this zip file, and they would go, what's a zip file? And we're like, oh, wow, how far does this part of the whiteboard go where we have to start creating videos to tell them all of these different things? And we want it to be at a certain point where we can say, connect your domain. Most people can figure out, how to buy a domain, connect a domain.
So I want to pause you just for a moment there too, because I think there's some valuable advice in what you're saying here, which is if somebody's in that earlier stage, their mission should be to make that first $1, like really. So rather than being distracted by all kinds of strategies and tactics and all this, like there's so much to distract an entrepreneur. The sole focus should be that first $1.
I would agree with you, Bill. I think at that point, you should not be getting caught up in traffic and conversion strategies and figuring out, reading books. You can read them, but trying to apply them, you're just not ready for that yet. No matter what you're looking at, if you're looking at something like no-code software or you're a developer, there's always these different types of things that you've got to realize, before I can do this, I need to do this. So that person that hasn't made $1 yet, they need to figure out how Samcart works with ClickFunnels. And I say this because I own Groove and I don't want to always be promoting my stuff, but whether it's they're using Samcart and ClickFunnels and WordPress, or they're using High Level, or they're using Groove and MailChimp and ActiveCampaign, before they get caught up in all this other stuff, the first thing they want to do is they want to understand how to get that technical foundation ready so that they can get things up and running. And then from there, they'll go create their product, load it up into a fulfillment site like Groove or Kajabi or something, Thinkific, or what's the new one that's blowing up right now, Sam Ovens' School, right? So you need, and I think Alex Hormozy just invested in that company now. So we'll be seeing a lot from them. But once you have that, then we're ready for this part of the $1 on over. And so here's my thoughts for that. I don't think anybody should ever be concerned with traffic, even though the thing behind me says the Traffic Syndicate, because the very first foundation is, and I kind of say it like this little, old grandmother, right? How dare you, right? Like, do not dare look into getting traffic to any funnel or website that, I'm going to use this word, worthy. It's not worthy of traffic. It's a sin to send traffic to it. It's a shame for you to ask an affiliate to send traffic to it. It's a shame for you to buy traffic to that website until that funnel or website checks all the boxes for conversion. Because here's the thing that most people, when we say the Traffic Syndicate or any course that's ever been out there, when people say this, I tried Facebook advertising. It didn't work for me. I tried LinkedIn. it didn't work for me. I tried posting that stuff on Facebook. It didn't work for me. I usually answer that question to them. And I said this in the webinar. Oh, really? You gave Facebook $100 and they didn't send you any traffic? And they say, no, well, I mean, they sent me traffic. It's like, oh, so the traffic is there when you need it. It didn't convert. So whose problem is that really? Is it Facebook? Was it a Facebook problem? Or was it your offer? So the very first thing we have to do is make sure that our funnels are using the standard direct marketing principles. We have to ask, what type of product am I selling? Is it a $47 ebook? And well, that's not going to work with traffic. You can't buy traffic and make a $47 ebook work unless you have a couple of upsells and downsells and what we call, a back-end path, right? And that, that is what we call a funnel. I think we take that for granted. Let me just break that down for a second. We're bringing people through a funnel. The funnel is to bring people through an ascension. They start wide at the top. They're just a lead. Then they buy the $7 tripwire. Then they buy a $297 product, and then maybe a $997. And then we invite them to our live event, and then we sell them a $25K mastermind or program or something like that, a typical ascension funnel. So that's another thing that's important when people say, hey, I'm going to go out and buy traffic. We need to know that the lifetime value or the average order value of this lead is going to be more than just your $47 book, unless you're selling a $497 product. I believe if you have a $497 product, you can do a webinar for it, drive traffic to an automated webinar. You don't need any upsells. You'll most likely be able to get your traffic to work. But that offer, funnel, VSL, all that stuff needs to work. And so what'll happen is somebody will create the funnel and then go out and buy traffic for it. It's like, wait, did you mail anything to your list and see what we would call hot traffic? Did you reach out to Bill Mcintosh and say, hey, Bill, do me a favor. Would you mind sending, a portion of your list to this? I just want to get some metrics. And then I would know that that's warm traffic. That's endorsed traffic. That's going to convert better than my ads. And if I mail to my list and it bombs, and I ask Bill Mcintosh to mail to my list and it bombs, I know for a fact I'm going to waste my money with the traffic. We've got to get that funnel and the offer ready to get traffic, because to send traffic to it is a sin if it's not ready to accept it.
Well, one thing I'd like to add to that too, I think, is that long-term thinking. We're talking about a funnel, and I think a lot of people will think in their mind a funnel, meaning like the first 24 hours. I paid for a Facebook ad. I spent, $100. Someone bought my $7 ebook. I just lost money, right? So I sold a $7 ebook, just lost $93 on that $100 Facebook spend. And I think a lot of people will think in terms of a funnel being a short-term, like what is that immediate click experience? Personally, where I found a lot of success is when I extend that, like in my mind, I'm extending that funnel, and it really is a 30, 60, or even a 90-day journey that when someone comes into my solar system here, the Bill Mcintosh universe, they enter in from clicking an ad, they join a list, maybe they attend a webinar or buy a low-end product. But if I try to force my measurement of like how much money did I make on day one from that spend, I lose every time. But if I work really hard over that next 30 days to bond with that customer, make them more offers, make them upsells, then I win all day long. But it's by extending the time, like looking at it over time instead of looking at it, what did I make today on that click?
So that's a contrast between average order value, right? We use that word average order value because the order is what happens in that one day, right? They check out, they see upsells, downsells, they buy or they don't. And then when we're done, we could say, okay, every buyer buys the product. And once we look at the upsells, we can average out what the average order value is. And then from there, we go to what you were talking about, the lifetime value or the 90-day value, or what's this worth to me in a year? And then they're on my list. And then, there's some things that we can't even track, right? What we might make with affiliate commissions, or if they come to a live event, it's so hard to know. There are people that'll say, Mike, I've been, your customer since before butterfly marketing. And I say, what product? And they'll throw a product out. I don't even think every now and then somebody brings out something. There was one that I'm so ashamed of. It was literally how to spam, right? So this goes back to 2002. Yeah. So that's the lifetime value. But I think the goal that we have when we're buying traffic is at least if we can break even on the average order value, then hey, that would be fantastic. Let's say I could spend $1,000 a day, or $10,000, or $50,000, or $100,000 a day. What difference would it make if I was spending $10,000 a day and my average order value was 10,000 a day. People would say, well, then what are you bothering for? You're breaking even. I'd be like, yeah, but I'm getting 600 new customers a day. I'm getting 7,000 new leads, that are opting in, and I'm going to be able to, this front end offer is funding the lead acquisition at no cost. So it's like getting customers and leads for free. And then, as you said, Bill, now you can see what can I turn this into in 90 days and a year, and what can I build from that? So that's another thing that sometimes you want to look into. It's okay to be running an ad campaign that's breaking even or even slightly losing money if it's getting you leads and customers.
Yeah, I can think of a campaign that I think we were spending $300 to acquire a $100 customer. And that ad campaign just crushed. It ran for a good 18 months, solidly profitable. But had I measured it, I was losing money day one. But by the end of the 30 days, it was heftily in profit, and then it continued to go on past for 6 solid months. It was that traffic continued to produce revenue. Out of the gate, though, yeah, I was losing 2/3 of the money I was investing in ads.
Yeah, and that'll affect how much you can scale, right? But you might be able to do that at 100 or 2 a day, or maybe 300 a day. But if you're making a lot of money with it, it might affect you from spending 10,000 a day, right? Because that's going to cost you $300,000 a month, right? And you might not be able to go that deep into your pocket to wait 4 to 5 months for that to pay off. But you find out where you can fund that long enough to recoup that money and then some. That's really awesome.
But you're right. The ultimate is when you're at break even. So if you can get to where you're acquiring the customer and the leads at break even, then that's wide open for scaling.
And the other thing, like law number 9, when we did our webinar that you did last night with us, the 12 fundamental laws of a no-fail ad campaign. And by the way, behind the curtain, anybody listening, anytime you're going to do something, use the X fundamental laws of a no-fail, not a successful. That's something Jeff Walker and I, worked out together on a phone call one day, and he had, I think, the 7 fundamental laws of a no-fail launch. So it's very strange to what the mind hears when you hear the 7 fundamental laws of a successful launch. But the mind really likes to hear the 7 fundamental laws of a no-fail launch, right? But nobody wants to fail at anything, and that implies success. So you get both of those in there. So just a little tidbit for people. If you're doing a freemium report, I've been using this for a long, long time. This goes back to when we did, Andy Jenkins and I did the 5 fundamental laws of a successful webinar, of a no-fail webinar. Laws are good. They're kind of like you can use commandments, laws, obviously secrets, strategies. Those are important. But just a little side note: it's always good to lead any webinar that you're doing, any training. Just break it down instead of giving somebody the secret to getting traffic, say, or to losing weight. Just say the 7 fundamental laws when for effective keto, right? It's just an easy way to break down a presentation. People have always seemed to identify with it, and so that's a little tip for people. But law number 9, fundamental law number 9, plan to fail. Another big mistake that I see marketers make is they go out and they run ads, and we expect that ad to work the first time. Never. I don't know about you, Bill, but I know that usually you're probably like me. If you're working with your team, the first time you're releasing an ad to a brand new offer, you're usually going to start using these words like, what's the budget we have for this? And that reason why we ask that budget is we're asking, we don't expect this to win. What do we want to spend on this to get the data? We'll say something like,
how much money can we sacrifice to get the data, basically?
Right, yeah, right. We're going to say something like, all right, don't go running $3,000 a day. Here's what I'm comfortable with. Let's run this for about 3 weeks to a month, run $300 a day, and let's see what happens. And if they're going for refresh, made a sale, whatever, it doesn't matter. You might make a sale, but the ad campaign sucks. What you're looking to do, and fundamental law number 9, is plan to fail. All you're doing in the first round is buying data and going through and going, Bill, see that one, the headline you and I thought would be best? Guess what place it came in? What? 11th? Really? Yeah. And guess which one was the best? The one that, this person in support came up with. That's running number 1 and number 2. And then now what you do is you take all of the bad junk and you throw it out, and you look at what lost a little bit of money and said, hey, if we only ran this ad, instead of only making 2 sales, we might have made 7. But we still would have lost money. But what can we learn from this ad? And then now you start improving that ad to what's the next goal? Break even. If you could get it to break even, we just spoke about all the benefits. You're acquiring leads and customers and a tracking pixel at no cost. And the next thing you do is you optimize, add a back end, do a better guarantee, do an upsell, call the people on the phone, whatever it might be. Optimize the ad, do new creatives, maybe a slightly different video. And now suddenly you say, oh my goodness, look at this. We're spending $900 a day and we're bringing in $2,200 a day. Oh my God. Like when that hits for somebody, that's, you get the calculator out and you're like, honey, come over here. What's that? What does that mean? 380. What does that mean? That's $380,000 we're going to make this year in profit if I just don't touch this ad. And that's what I want people to know, is that plan to fail, be okay, set that budget. If you say, Mike, I don't have that much money, I get it. I don't know who we're talking to, but I'm going to say this. Do you have $1,000 to spend over 30 days? And what is that? That's about $30 a day, $33 a day. And if you don't, and spend $33 a day for 14 days, and you'll spend $500. At the end of the day, you'll have data. The more data, the better you can make an informed decision. But any amount of data is going to at least tell you what ads didn't work and what ads did work. And then from there, that's all advertising is. It's throwing out the bad and looking at the good and saying, how do I improve on that? Well, you know what ended up working? Me with a picture of my dog. Well, let me get my 2 cats in the picture, and whatever it might be, just if you find out what works and improve on it.
So for those of you who are not yet a PushButton AI customer, then you need to check this out. And all you need to do is go to pushbutton.ai/demo, pushbutton.ai/demo, and you can get a live one-on-one appointment to get on Zoom and see this powerful technology in action. And with PushButton AI, it will build an entire business from bottom to top. Everything you need, from your domain name to your logo to videos to audio lessons, an entire course that you can sell as your own, a 30-day email sequence that it writes. You can send a daily email for 30 days, all written by AI, and a whole lot more. It writes your sales page. If you're not sure how to write an expert sales page to convince people to buy stuff, it writes it for you. It writes a free report that you can give away to get subscribers to your list. It even creates and writes the opt-in subscription page to get people to subscribe to get the free report. And it goes on and on and on. It even writes your first 10 blog posts for you, and it can do so much more. Social media posts, ads, all of these things are done, and all you have to do is answer a couple of questions and push a button. Now, PushButton AI is not available to the public at the time of recording this video. And the only way to get in is by invite to our behind-the-scenes beta access. And during your live demo, we'll show you the technology. We'll actually work with you to actually map out an entire course that you could sell as your own. We'll outline the course with you together on the one-on-one Zoom call. And then if you so decide, if you're a good fit, you can come in, join our PushButton AI beta program, and be in business with that very course by the next day. Go to pushbutton.ai/demo to figure out if this powerful technology is right for you. You can register there. You'll book an appointment in the calendar. Be sure you show up. Our team will be very excited to meet you and show you how the tech works, outline your new course for you, and hopefully it's a fit and we can work together to launch your next business.